a huge injury in football this week where Uruguay were playing Brazil.
Oh.
Uruguay actually managed to pick up the win. Big ups to Marcelo Bielsa.
Big up Marcelo.
But Neymar tore his cruciate ligament, I think it was.
ACL and MCL.
Yeah, so he had what could have been, especially for him, a career-ending injury. He's always been injury-prone, but there's been a lot of rumours online that it could be the end of Neymar's career. And it got me thinking, in the last 10, 15 years, probably 10 years, Neymar's always kind of been overshadowed by that Messi, Ronaldo, and then even at like Barcelona, you had Suarez always pumping in the goals as well. Do you think that Neymar's career has been a little bit under, or maybe even overrated? Because everyone always talks about him, but he's never been spoke about in that top 5 level. I don't think.
I feel like it's probably not been underrated, and I don't think it's been overrated either. I just think with him being Brazilian and how he plays, he's always going to be in the limelight because Brazil are renowned for producing players that have just reek of flair and trickery, and he obviously fits that category to a T. But I think in the long run, in the longevity, if we could call it that, of his career, he's really been unfortunate with his injuries.
Super unfortunate.
And he's not really. I don't think we've seen him reach his full potential. I don't think, obviously, we're not gonna. So we didn't really get the chance to see him reach his full potential because of said injuries. It's been a bit unfortunate for him. He joined PSG in 2017, and he's only just left. And that's 6 seasons. He played, I think, 170 odd games. And I think if you just take the league across 6 seasons, that should be 204 games. He's played. Obviously, not much less than that, but you've got to take into consideration cups and everything.
Yeah, every other competition, Champions League, French Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been one of the most injured players in football for the last couple of years. But I think when I was looking into him, actually, a lot of this surprised me a little bit. And his goals and assists record, it's unbelievable. It's way better than I thought it was.
Have you seen the comparison between Neymar, Messi, and Ronaldo after 700 games?
No.
So goals and assists. Neymar had 687 total. Ronaldo had 595.
Wow.
After 700 games, and obviously Messi's anomaly like 797.
Yeah.
But to have 100 more goals and assists than Ronaldo after 700 games, I think
that's a huge achievement.
That's insane.
No.
He deserved better as a player. I read online as well that he'd played 225 games by the age of 21.
Yeah.
For me, Neymar as well, I remember he was one of the first people that was kind of a huge wonder kid during my time in football. Like, obviously, you had the ones in the Premier League, but I remember hearing about Neymar and, to be honest, seeing him on FIFA even before he'd moved over to
Santos.
Barcelona.
I remember with Santos, we used to have 5-star skilled Brazilian teams on Ultimate Team on like FIFA 12. And him for Santos, I think he was even gold at the time, even for Santos. It was just everybody used to go.
Here we go.
Oh, he's got a score.
But yeah, even at Santos, so I've got a few stats from his time at the 3 big clubs he's been at. And they've got Santos, he had 139 appearances, 72 goals and 37 assists. Bear in mind, the majority of
how
that
young he was
would have been when he was like literally like 16 to like 19 years old.
Yeah.
Then he went to Barcelona. In 186 appearances, he had 105 goals and 76 assists. That's unbelievable. For still a very young player, I want to talk about as well, he was part of potentially the best attacking front three of all time.
MSN.
That Messi, Neymar, Suarez.
MSN, man.
That was unbelievable. Like, there was always the argument, is it them or was it like Bale, Ronaldo, who else? Benzema. Yeah.
BBC.
But I think in the end, I would definitely pick. In fact, who would you pick?
Honestly,
BBC. Would you pick BBC or MSN?
You're asking the biggest Messi fan in the world to pick between them two. I'd still pick MSN, not going to lie.
Oh, I'd pick
MSN on paper, obviously, it's just, you are going to pick them. But in terms of what they achieved, they underachieved. BBC repeated the UCL. He also did, I think it was 4 UCLs in 5 years. They had like 1 year gap. Why couldn't MSN do that? You know?
Yeah, true. But I feel like a lot of them was like flipping positions, getting a little bit older. Neymar wasn't there for quite as long as the Real Madrid run went for.
Not as long as he should have been. Because the thing is, one thing that I wanted to get on with Neymar and his longevity is, I've got here that for Barcelona, he played 186 games for Barcelona, and that's across 4 seasons, and he played 173 for PSG across 6. So obviously his time's gone on. That what you mentioned about the amount of games that he played before 21 has obviously massively affected him. You look at players like Michael Owen.
True.
They've been played and overexerted before the body's fully developed, and then they've just struggled for the rest of the career with injuries.
Get rinsed early too much. It's like Eden Hazard.
That's why we're worried about Saka at the moment with how Arteta uses him.
It's happened to Rooney as well. Like Rooney, the longevity argument's so difficult. People don't think about longevity as having an early career as well. Like people think longevity is just playing until you're like 35. You can play until you're like 30. Because you've started off your career.
It's when you start and at the level in which you start. Yeah, absolutely.
Like Hazard, he's retired now. People are saying, "Oh, Salah wins this thing because he's got more longevity." But Salah only really became world class when he was like 25. He only came onto the big stage then. So
yeah, that's a fair point. I think that my thing with Neymar in terms of longevity is he's had a lot of these injuries and obviously played less games, but whenever he has played, he's still done well. Whereas like Michael Owen, for example, he carried on playing even past his injuries, but never picked up the same pace. He never had the same output. Whereas at least Neymar, when he's come back, he's still had the numbers and still done unbelievable throughout the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main thing, because you've got to be able to get these injuries and still be able to come back. As he said, it's a level of performance, and some players they struggle to get back to it after a big injury like that. It's really hard, and that's testament to Neymar that he's been able to continue at the level that he has after some really big injuries. So that just goes down to him being an absolute baller.
Yeah,
I don't think it's just down to his sister's birthday as well.
No,
I think they are genuine injuries.
On the topic of Neymar as well, that had to come into it at some point, didn't it? Yeah.
But I think it's a real shame as well. Obviously, he's picked up this huge injury now. But for me, like a player of his quality at 31 moving to the Saudi League is shit.
It is
like
shit.
I would have much preferred him to have gone pretty much anywhere else.
He should have gone back to Barcelona.
Still,
But I think for him, he's aware of how injury prone he is and that he needs to get that bag.
Well, look at what he's just done. How long is he going to be out and how much money is he still going to earn whilst being out?
That's what I mean. He knows that he's prone to these injuries. So he's like, well, if I can go play there, I'll still get in the Brazil squad. I'm going to earn more money than I could have